If you want all of your data in one place, you need the Intuit ERP. I'm Damon John, and I run my growing business on Intuit Enterprise Suite. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
If you were asked to pick one career highlight, could you do it? Or is that borderline impossible? I'm not sure that I could. 20 years of terrestrial radio, there's a lot to comb through. Almost 15 of those spent at CFOX, Vancouver's rock juggernaut. That station afforded me some incredible life moments, from doing world album premieres with Metallica, Nickelback, Velvet Revolver, flying first class to Dublin to do my radio show from the Jameson Whiskey Distillery. I think I talked about this last time we did a Career Highlights podcast, but broadcasting from the Irish House for the duration of the 2010 Winter Olympics, I mean, these are things I will not soon forget. And the best thing is that we all have them. Even this podcast is a highlight for me. Now 7 years in, for something that I thought might last maybe a year. So you'll hear from 12 guests this week as they share their stories, they share their career highlights. Coming up shortly in Listen to This, Danko Jones, speaking of career highlights, talking about being handpicked to open up for the Rolling Stones. That is powered by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, RV service and repair. ICBC accredited. You can find them online at tedcorvsuppliesinc.com and on Twitter as well. First, a few of our musical guests share their career highlights, brought to you by Pineapple Sound. They're a recording and mixing studio in Langley since 2013. They also welcome podcasts and voiceover actors and a lot more. Check them out through pineapplesound.com. Alter Bridge, formed in 2004 after Creed became inactive in 2003. Lead guitarist Mark Tremonti, bass player Brian Marshall, and drummer Scott Phillips grabbed, at the time, Mayfield 4 singer Miles Kennedy, and the rest is history. Their debut, One Day Remains, debuted at number 5 on the Billboard US 200. Impressive for a new band. Right around the time they released their 6th album, Walk the Sky, guitarist Mark Tremonti was a guest.
You know, right off the bat, I would say Royal Albert Hall. You know, we did a concert with the orchestra. That was probably the best night on stage any of us had ever had.
What was it about that show?
You know, when you put all this time and effort into creating this music, and then years later, you have all your fans fly in from around the world, and you get to have it backed up by a 52-piece orchestra playing it flawlessly, and it was just one of those things that just gave me the chills all night. It was
I bet.
An amazing night.
After the Abbott brothers broke up Pantera in 2003, they started a band called Damage Plan. It was that band that released their debut, Newfound Power, in early 2004. And on December 8th of the same year, tragedy struck while they were playing a show in Columbus, Ohio. Vinnie Paul's brother, Dimebag, was shot and killed on stage. A couple of years after Dime's death, Vinnie formed Hell Yeah. Mudvayne singer Chad Gray fronts the band. Former Nothing Face guitarist Tom Maxwell is in the band. And a few months before his death, drummer Vinnie Paul was a guest, and we got him talking about career highlights.
I mean, there's several. Obviously, being in Hell Yeah, being a part of this, making what I think is the very best record we've ever made collectively as a band, undeniable. I feel really, really proud about that. Super cool to have the Phil Collins track, I Don't Care Anymore, on there with my brother's performance. You know, for people to be able to hear him on the airwaves again in 2016 was just really big and really special. Having a number 1 album in 1994 with Pantera, when the world was taken by surprise, and they were like, that overnight sensation. We're like, bullshit, we've been doing this for 7 years nonstop, you know, all over the world, and the fans have spoken, man. We outsold Bonnie Raitt, we outsold Ace of Base, we outsold all those bands and had a number 1 record, man. So that was a huge highlight. And then playing in Moscow in '92 on the Monsters of Rock to 1 million people, probably never played to a crowd that big ever again, and playing with AC/DC and Metallica, you know, that we just put out, or just about to put out Vulgar Display of Power. So the people that really didn't know us, didn't know anything about our music, and they treated us like Led Zeppelin, man. It was just one of the greatest days ever. So I'd say those are probably my 3 top highlights.
Chances are you'll know drummer Pat Stewart's drumming. He was the drummer for Bryan Adams back in the day. He's toured with Matt Good, Colin James, recorded albums with Jan Arden, Barney Bentall, currently in Odds, Cobra Ramon. Hands down, one of the nicest guys in music, friendly and fun, and he's full of great stories.
I would have to say Live Aid. And it's not even something I walk around and think about or that I prepared for it. Actually, one of my bandmates who never talks about that, but because this is like another era of my life before I was in friends with a couple of the Odds guys.
Mm-hmm.
But
and Live Aid was 81?
85.
85.
Yeah, I was touring with Bryan Adams and Reckless, and it was at that point, that was June, and it was just starting to take off. I mean, he was already big in Canada.
Right.
Cuts Like a Knife was a great record, and he already had a big thing going here. We'd done a run of like Coliseums in January or something across Canada, which blew my mind, and then some States, and then a whole bunch of Europe, and then back to the States.
How old are you at this point?
23.
When you're in Bryan Adams' band, 23 years old.
Yeah, I was.
So
20,
it's on.
It's on.
Was it?
I was a little excited.
Was it crazy partying and stuff? What were the early years of like the Reckless album and?
You know what? It wasn't like. No, Motley Crue and some of those guys, they took care of that part. I mean,
but there's like you're partying.
We're on the road. You're having beers every night, or once in a while you feel like, oh, Billy Gibbons wants to take us to this club.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. The Black Crowes have been around since the late 80s. Their debut, Shake Your Moneymaker, blew minds in 1989. Rolling Stone magazine readers named the band the best new American band in 1990. The infighting within the band is infamous. The brothers Robinson, Chris, and Rich fighting like brothers do through the band's entire career. Former drummer Steve Gorman jumped on the podcast to be a guest and talk about his book, Hard to Handle, The Life and Death of the Black Crowes, a memoir, which is an incredible read, a must-read for any fan of the band. It is an eye-opener, to say the least.
I've always just thought about, like, every time something happens, it's like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, what's the next thing? Like, it's easy to say, oh, well, the gigs with Jimmy Page were incredibly fun. But the first time I ever played in a club, I felt a way that I could never feel again. You know what I mean? Like, there's just the notion that the first time I ever played on a drum kit that was had microphones on it, and I heard my drums through a PA, that's not a feeling you can ever get for the second time. So, depending on where you sit and the mood I'm in, there's a lot of things I could say that was the highlight. But, I'm thinking about the next thing mostly. Get through it and think about the next thing.
Musical guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Pineapple Sound, providing recording and mixing services for a wide range of artists and genres since 2013. Check them out at pineapplesound.com.
Some says you're master, I hear my heart rise.
Now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
If you've listened to any good Canadian rock radio station, Danko Jones is a staple of the playlist. Been around since 1996, although it wasn't until 98 that he released his self-titled EP. At this point, between the EPs and full lengths, he's 13 albums deep. The last, A Rock Supreme, came out in 2019, recorded at the farm in BC's beautiful Sunshine Coast with producer Garth Richardson. Their new album, Power Trio, is scheduled to be released this year, August 2021. And when Danko was a guest, we talked about comic books and superpowers, knowing that he's a full geek like me. Binge watching The Terrace House, how social media plays into his day-to-day life. He shared his thoughts on legalized marijuana. We talked about Metallica, Motley Crue, Kiss, VIP meet and greets, his thoughts on those. And Danko talked about being handpicked by the Rolling Stones to open up their 40 Licks tour at the Toronto date back in 2002. Listen to this.
You know, playing with the Rolling Stones in Toronto for a gig, and we were asked to play, and apparently it came from the Stones. When I found out more about it, I've heard two different versions. I've heard a few stories about the show in regards to us. So my roommate, and that's a long story, but my roommate gave Mick Jagger a copy of our album like a couple of months before the gig for his birthday when the Stones were in Toronto, and there was a Mick Jagger birthday party. My roommate at the time got in, and he gave Mick a copy of our album called Born a Lion. Then I heard that, and that was straight from my roommate. My roommate told me. Mm-hmm. So I knew that was true. And then I was at a club once, walking into this like restaurant club to meet a friend, and the bouncer took me aside, and he said, "You know, I did security for the Stones when they were here for 40 Licks, and Ron Wood listened to your album every day." So that was a story I wasn't expecting that night. And then I was in Belgium doing press. This is going back 2006, so it's going back a few years. Mm. But I did an interview with a journalist who said that he asked Keith Richards, he did an interview with Keith Richards and asked him who were his favorite opening bands on the 40 Licks tour, because that's when he interviewed Keith after the 40 Licks tour. And Keith Richards said, the White Stripes and Us. And I asked the journalist, did you record that? And he said yes. And I'm still waiting for, he promised he'd give me a recording of the interview. And I've actually since talked to him. Right. And I asked him last time I talked to him if he had the recording. And he said, I couldn't find it, or he didn't have it, or he forgot or something. I'm still waiting on that interview with Keith Richards and him.
13 years later, yeah.
I really want that clip.
Dude, are you kidding me? Like, what?
Yeah.
Listen to this on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Find them online at tedcorvsuppliesinc.com.
Here's Tanya Aganaba, and her song is Comfortable. I think she played that one at the Toddcast podcast, Cheap Thrills. She did one with us 3 years back now. Maybe you caught that one. Place was packed. She is a great storyteller. Her husband plays drums in her band, or at least he did for that night, which was a great night. You know, talking about that stuff just makes you miss it even more, doesn't it? Played you Murray Atkinson and a ripper for him called The Goose, and we love Murray and his solo stuff. A great guy, a natural, just a beauty, and he's also the guitarist in Odds as well. Okay, Todd's Trolls is coming up in just a little bit. The stupid, the mean, the hurtful, and the funny things that people say to what you post, what you see online. This week, Royal Blood, the new movie Without Remorse, and the Kentucky Derby bask in that white-hot spotlight. Powered by the Garage, Games and Geekery in Maple Ridge. It's your place to play. Warhammer, D&D, Slay Trolls, and a lot more. Find them online at garagegames.ca. First, back to more career highlights and a few of our sporting guests, all of whom are brought to you by Joyce Heating Services, family owned and operated, heating the Lower Mainland since 1960, and hit them up for air conditioning in the summer as well. So Blair O'Neill has been golfing since the age of 11, and by high school, she was one of the best junior golfers in Arizona. She got a full ride scholarship to Arizona State University. There, she was crowned a 2-time NCAA women's long drive champ. After college, Blair turned pro. She was on the LPGA tours from 2012 to 2014, all the while navigating a successful modeling career, runway fashion shows, print ads, catalogs, magazine covers, websites, various commercials. So from all of that, what's the career highlight?
I think the biggest turning point in my career, was winning Big Break Dominican Republic. It was such a big show, and there were so many eyes on the show, and it was a huge goal of mine to compete on that show. And when I won it, it definitely opened a lot of doors for me and gave me some more opportunities to keep my dream alive of playing professional golf, and then also led me into, my television career. So I think it really was a big break for me, and I was able to really grow from that experience.
Christian Covington was born in Vancouver, and you could say that football is in his blood. His dad is Grover Covington, CFL, a member of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Christian is a beast in his own right, clobbering through high school, through college, was drafted by the Houston Texans in 2015, had 4 solid years with those guys, signed a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys in 2019, is now with the Cincinnati Bengals. The kid is living the dream, still killing it in the NFL. And you'll love what he had to say.
Yeah, I guess Monday Night Football last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you knew the answer to that.
Yeah. That's why I was thinking I probably knew it, but.
Yeah, that was a pretty good game. Although another one obviously might be, I think 2 years ago. I sacked Tom Brady. That might have been another big one.
Yeah. What's that like? Like when you're taking a guy like that down?
Well, I mean, it's surreal just because I literally grew up watching him. Like that's the one aspect of it, and then that's another crazy aspect. It's like, man, how long has his brother been playing in this league?
No shit.
Like, I was literally a kid watching you play. Now I'm playing against you. Like, this is insane.
Just a warrior.
Yeah, he is. He's like the epitome of a warrior on that field. Much respect to. I mean, shoot, I think he's earned the title of the GOAT. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's the greatest of all time. So that goes without saying.
You'll know Mercedes Terrell as a longtime Octagon girl for Bellator MMA, and she also has a podcast with Jade Bryce called the Magic Hour Podcast.
I think I'm about to experience it this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But for sure, my career highlight thus far has been starting this podcast with Jade Bryce called the Magic Hour. And I don't know about you with your podcast, but this thing has allowed me to just be completely transparent and I think find a lot of myself and be able to experiment with new techniques and tools and implement them into my life, and then meet so many new people, especially doing interviews with them, which you probably get some of that on your show.
Lots.
And the benefits of what come with that. So just expanding my community and getting to know myself better, and then getting to know my own tribe, better, and building my own tribe, like I was saying earlier, has been amazing. And then this weekend, like I said, we are going to actually have a live event during South by Southwest in Austin, Texas at On It Gym. And we're having 3 guests come, and we'll do live interviews in front of the audience, but then we're also going to do movement-based workshops with each of the guests. They're all into, one's, if you know, Align podcast with Aaron Alexander. He's coming, and he's going to do an articulated stretch workshop with us and breath work workshop with us. And then Melody F. Kami, she's got this amazing, groundbreaking dance class that she's going to have us work through.
Wow.
And Parangi, who is the number one dude in ecstatic dance, which I think is a method that's going to change the world little by little here.
Travis Lulay played 10 seasons for the BC Lions from 2009 to 2018, was named the CFL's most outstanding player in 2011, was named most valuable player in the 2011 Grey Cup. He retired from pro football in 2019, though he still works with the team, and clearly has some memories to pull from when you start talking about career highlights.
The career highlights, hoisting the cup in 2011, man, that was... it becomes more fun in hindsight, too, just to recognize how special that was. A lot of people know the story. You may have been around for that or paying attention, right? But we started the year 0-5, and halfway through the year, we moved back into BC Place, and we got to playing really good football, and we were just on fire the rest of the way. As we moved back into the building, it was just packed and rocking. Everybody wanted to see the new place. The Grey Cup was in Vancouver. We win our final game, which means we get to host the Western Final. If we win the West Final, we're playing in what amounts to a home Grey Cup, and then we got it done, right, just in front of a rocking house. Such a cool venue that did the CFL justice, at our pinnacle moment, and I got to be directly involved in all that. So that was obviously really special. He was named the MVP of the game. We hoisted the trophy overhead and the orange and white confetti, and it was a fairy tale ending to a tough start, and it's just, was a phenomenal life lesson for me, and perseverance and overcoming the negativity and adversity at the beginning. And so, it's something that, other teams have used as example for years. We've gotten countless stories from teams, right. High school coaches and teams in other places that we started slowly, and we referenced the 2011 BC Lions, and so to be a part of that kind of story, and to be able to tell that story, and
it's pretty cool.
Kind of make an impact years later was pretty dang cool, man.
Yeah.
Sporting guest visits of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Joyce Heating Services, a family-owned and operated heating business serving the Lower Mainland since 1960. Online at joyceheating.com.
Wild we meant to be, my sweet little fantasy. You run but you never leave. How you look at me, how the air I breathe, the tickles and the tingling, but my telephone never rings.
Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
A look at this week's keyboard warriors, Todd's Trolls, on the Toddcast podcast.
Royal Blood's new album, Typhoons, is out in a few days, this Friday, April 30th. Now, here's a band, 2015's Best British Group at the Brit Awards, main stage at the Reading and Leeds Festival, arguably the best rock band of the last decade, and yet they still take heat.
Their new stuff sucks in comparison to their old stuff. No offense, of course. I don't know. The new songs, they sound like Royal Blood Light. Jimmy Page once said they'd save rock and roll. He was wrong.
In theaters, as of this weekend, April 30th, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. And the premise is pretty simple. An elite Navy SEAL uncovers an international conspiracy at the same time that he's trying to avenge the murder of his wife. The trailer looks tense.
These Navy SEAL movies are so done. Who's with me? They could never make another movie like this, and that would be okay. Nope, I'd rather watch 2 hours of that shithead James Corden trying to be funny.
And the Kentucky Derby is this weekend, May 1st. A big one for horse racing. Goes down in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, I got an idea. Let's whip those little jockey bastards instead. Hello, PETA? Isn't this the type of shit you should be trying to stop? Anyone who willingly watches the abuse of these poor horses can unfollow me now. Sorry, not sorry.
Todd's Trolls on the Toddcast podcast is powered by The Garage, Games and Geekery, your place to play RPGs, board games, and Warhammer in Maple Ridge. Online at garagegames.ca.
I could give you words, talk is cheap. So I put in the work to earn my keep. Worn these hands down to the bone, because it's true, the only thing that I've ever known. If I'm not gonna beg before I break, I gotta give before I get some take. Ask for dreams, you gave me fear. Gave you my blood, gave you my sweat, gave you my tears. If I'm not gonna bear before I break, I gotta give before I get some take. If I'm not gonna bear before I break, how much I gotta give before I get some take. 'Cause my hands they hurt, my feet they tie, my back it aches. They tied my back, it aches. My hands, they hurt. My feet, they tied my back, it aches. I wouldn't want it any other way. If I'm not gonna bear before I break,
And a big sound for that band, Year of the Wolf, and their song is Work. A great live band as well. We had them play a show for the podcast at the Railway. It seems like years ago now, but realistically, probably a couple, maybe 2.5 years back. Haven't heard too much out of their camp as of late, but I guess you could kind of expect that. We are in a pandemic after all. So I don't think it's too uncommon that you don't hear too much about a band at this moment. Hopefully, they've been using some of the lockdown to get creative, hit us with some new music. That'd be nice. I thought you'd like what these guys are all about. Played you Dom Fricot and a wonderful song for him called Sweet Little Fantasy. And I'd always thought that he would break into Vancouver's radio market. I played him on CFOX's Indie Night in Canada when I was there, but I mean a full-on ad to the regular rotation playlist. He's got the voice, writes great songs. He is phenomenal live. He did one of those cheap thrills with us. I think it was one of maybe the second or third, where I host from on stage, the interview, the acoustic performance for Doms. He literally had the crowd stomping and clapping along on the first song of the night. Just an incredible talent who now calls Germany, I believe, home for the past 3 years as well. Lucky for those guys. Speaking of live music, find pandemic-distanced live stream shows with the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. Slowly but surely, they're starting to get added. If you're playing one or maybe you're checking out something, let me know about it. If it's indie, we'll post it at the website as well. That's brought to you by Mystic Rhythms Rehearsal Studios. 40-plus years experience in the music industry. Find out more about them through mysticrhythms.ca. Okay, our final guests of episode 246, career highlights from some of our entertainment guests, brought to you by Tomes. This is their final week of sponsorship. Big love to Jay Sikowski and Toby Wright for supporting during the pandemic. I mean, these are trying times for businesses. We're all doing our best to keep the doors open. Appreciate these guys. They are legit in wanting to help you relieve stress, get a better night's sleep. What have you got to lose? The first 7 nights are 100% free at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com. You'll know Danielle Ruiz from modeling. She's been in Fredericks of Hollywood ads, Hustler Apparel. She's been featured in Maxim back in the day. Maybe you would know her from being a host and Royal Flush Girl for the World Poker Tour. She's been in some cool shows too, like CSI, Entourage. So what's her career highlight?
It is kind of tough to answer. There's different genres. I honestly think, me doing like TV stuff for the World Poker Tour and being with them for almost like 7 years, about 7 years, and just got recontracted again for next year. So it's going to be 8 years.
Good for you. That's great.
I think that to me, sticking with a company for that long, and for someone who's still wanting you back for that long, I think that's like a highlight in itself.
Yeah, totally.
Because companies, like, they swap out people. There's always a new face. There's always a new like person. There's always a new niche. And the fact that like a company that's on Fox Sports Network still wants me, like, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, totally it is. And how's your poker game?
I think they like me more for my personality.
You're not getting behind the table anytime soon? That's nice. Oh, that's funny.
We've gotten taught by like professional, like, people, and a lot of like, you get really close with a lot of the high poker players, and I could get taught, but like, it's just not my jam,
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it, but it's not for me.
Actress Kate Miller has been in a bunch of stuff that you'll know. Most recently, she had a small role in The Trial of the Chicago 7 with Sacha Baron Cohen, which is a great film if you've yet to see it. But you'll know her from starring in Hightown. She's voiced video games, Wasteland 2, Guild Wars 2, Destiny 2, Manhunt. That game was mental.
I auditioned and I got the gig, and it was my first Broadway audition. I was 25. This was another lifetime ago at this point, but it sort of gives you cred when you land a Broadway play with someone like that.
Absolutely. So
and I learned a lot, this is the thing about New York City. Like the majority of people that are in show business, like I moved to LA and I married my husband late and I stayed here. They really celebrate celebrity here, and they don't care what kind of celebrity. In New York, everybody thinks of themselves, whether they're a celebrity or not, as a very blue collar kind of actor. It's a trade. You do it. Sometimes you hit big, sometimes you get a name, sometimes but she started out there. with, 5 roommates that were like Shirley MacLaine, and I can't remember who else, but she was just so real. Carol Burnett's so real and it was the first play she'd done since her Broadway debut when she was in her 20s, and she was in her 60s when we did this. I don't even know what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get at the fact that it sounds like, oh my God, that's so impressive, but it never felt like egotistical on anybody's part. It felt like cred, just straight up street cred. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm proud of it because I worked with someone that worked her way up like so many people that are true showbiz icons and legends have. They weren't, somebody's kid, or they weren't famous from a reality TV show or and all New York is still that way. You work, you do what comes down the pike.
One look at actor Lou Temple and your mind will go one of two ways: Rob Zombie films or Axel from The Walking Dead. Or maybe you'll know him as Lucas Fender in Domino. Maybe it's Cal, the diner manager from Waitress. He's been in CSI Miami, NCIS Los Angeles, Criminal Minds. But don't you just love his work with Zombie? He was Adam Banjo in The Devil's Rejects, played Noel Cluggs in the Halloween remake, was Psycho Head in 31, the sheriff to the prequel to the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was Lou.
And then most recently, I can't speak too much about it, but this little filmmaker who I think's got great legs. Actually, there's rumor this might be his last movie, Quentin Tarantino in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Which is amazing to see him work. I mean, just to be, and I'm just a fly on the wall in this thing, but it's just to see him work with DiCaprio and Pitt and Pacino and Kurt Russell and these greats. It really is such an experience. It's just an experience.
The name Mike Ward should be ringing a bell. He's a comedian who's appeared on TV doing stand-up in over 20 different countries: North America, Europe, Africa, Australia. He's the host of 2 wildly popular podcasts. He's had a successful career. He's also the comic who's currently fighting a $42,000 fine that he got for performing a bit in his act for a few years in the early 2010s, where he made fun of a young disabled singer, joked about trying to kill him by drowning him. Now, Mike was ordered to pay $42,000, $35,000 to the singer and $7,000 to his mom. In February of this year, 2021, Mike appealed the fine all the way to the Supreme Court in Canada, and you can thank him that he's doing that. It's a slippery slope that he's on, fining comedians for jokes. Sure, they're made in poor taste. Mike's a savior of the industry. Not all heroes wear capes.
Career highlight. It's weird. It's not even something that has to do really with my career, but there are 2 things that are really funny and kind of stupid. I was trending on Pornhub a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Because I put a special out, and someone had put it on Pornhub, and then I mentioned it in my podcast that it was on Pornhub. So people were searching Mike Ward on Pornhub, and I was number 2 in the trending in Pornhub, and I was like, that's really, really funny.
That's awesome. Yep, that's a good one. It's up there. It's got to be up there, man.
And the other thing, I've never met, like, my idol, and I should have mentioned him right off the top, but Norm Macdonald. I'm a huge Norm Macdonald fan.
Guy. What do you think of his Netflix special that took me a couple... not special, the show that he has, Norm Macdonald has a show.
Oh yeah, I really liked it. I really liked it.
It took me a couple goes before I kind of got into it, though.
Yeah, because it's very awkward.
It's very awkward.
There's something, I think, like, I've never met Norm, but we have friends in common, and they tell me that he's a weird dude. He's a weird dude.
Strikes it as weird, yes.
And he, one of my career highlights was, when I was going through the whole court thing, he tweeted about me, and then he was sending me direct messages, like, to tell me to stay strong and don't give up and blah blah blah. And then he'd write me every month or so to see how I was doing. And I was like, okay, that's really cool when someone you look up to like that, is looking in on you. And he had tweeted like the tweet he had sent out, he said that I was a genius, and I'm like the farthest thing from a genius. But having Norm Macdonald say I was a comedy genius, I was like, God damn, this is pretty good.
Entertainment guests of the Toddcast podcast are powered by Tomes, where quality sleep matters. Find out more at tomes.com. That's TAUMMHOMS.com.
They are called Flavor House, and a great song for those guys called Empathy for Psychopaths. And it's a nice way to wrap up this week's podcast. Of course, a big thanks to all of this week's guests for being guests over the years. And sometimes we're going back a few years to build these themed podcasts. And we appreciate, for the most part, that all of these people, all of these guests are pretty open and receptive to being included again in another style of podcast. And my name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening to this Career Highlights podcast. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We're also part of the Dean Blundell Network out of Toronto at deanblundell.com. Comment and rate the podcast. It helps out with the search results on Google and Bing and whatever else you're using. Does anybody use Bing? Search it out through Toddcast Podcast. Huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. We couldn't do it without their unwavering support. You can find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you would like to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. And do keep in mind, if you help us find a sponsor, we'll give you a commission based on the ad buy. So if you know a business that gets outside of the box advertising, maybe shoot them our way. Till next week, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
The Toddcast Podcast. Keep in touch with Todd through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and bookmark toddhancock.ca.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you're going to love our podcast, Disney Countdown. Hi, I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And Biscuits, I'm Jeremy, aka Jarendell, and we are the hosts of the hit Disney podcast, Disney Countdown.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show, right, Jeremy?
Ooh, girl, you know we are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you are looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefertiti is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefertiti podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Follow Nefertiti, that's NEFER-TV, wherever you get your podcasts.
Goodbye, Kyle!
Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlatta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.